The Premier announced today that Ontario's 2 million students will not be back in class at least until May 4th, and that date could be extended again. In the meantime, classes led by teachers are returning virtually, and they will count 4 marks.
We're ensuring the reestablishment of teacher-led learning with specific expectations for students and teachers by grade. This material will be graded by your teacher with the appropriate flexibility built in as we respond to this unprecedented challenge.
What this means is teachers will be issuing final marks and report cards. The actual teaching could be live online lessons, teleconferences, or emailing lessons. It's up to individual boards. The TDSB says lessons for teacher-led classes will be prepared differently depending on the course and the grade. How much the final exams and assignments will be worth versus the rest of the year will also be up to boards. So here are the guidelines for the hours your child is expected to be studying. Kindergarten to grade 6, 5 hours of work per week. Grade 7 and 8, 10 hours of work a week. And grades 9 to 12, 3 hours of work per course per week for semestered students, 1.5 hours of work per course per week for non-semestered students, with a focus on credits and graduation.
These are extraordinary times. We're moving quickly with 2 aims in mind. The first, to keep your child safe, and the second is to keep them engaged in learning. And I know nothing about this situation is ideal. And we recognize the difficulty that parents will face as we go forward.
Now, there is a lot of concern for students with special needs. The government says they will be getting extra support, something we'll keep an eye on, and efforts are being made to ensure every student has a computer. If that's not possible, telephone calls and mail-out packages will be used. The education minister says they don't know if school will return at all or if it will be extended into the summer. And he promised there will be no barriers to grade 12 students to graduate. But will they be able to afford tuition in the fall?
Hello, Premier. It seems pretty obvious that most university and college students are not going to be able to get summer jobs, which they desperately need to pay for next year's tuition. Yes. Are you going to be able to offer them any breaks on tuition come the fall? Everything's on the table right now. As our stimulus package, we mentioned that was the first phase, but I hear you. There's tens of thousands of students that rely on that money, and a lot of those students are paying for their own education. So I think it's important that we come up with a program. It all depends on how this curve goes.
Now, daycares will also be closed for another 2 weeks. Under a state of emergency, the government can only close them for 2 weeks at a time. Now, one more note, Premier Ford was asked if there could potentially be education layoffs, and he answered no, saying he just couldn't bring himself to do that.